My name is Claire. I am a technical writer for Esri. We make geographic imaging software, but that's actually not what I'm going to be talking about today, because I'm also a very active political campaigner. And in this year's Australian federal election, I actually stood as a Senate candidate in Victoria. I didn't win, obviously, but I got over 1,500 votes, which I'm pretty sure is more than most people in Australia got, so I'm happy about that. And I specifically wanted to talk about how technical writing skills sort of came into that journey and how they helped rather than the actual politics of politics. So I won't mention what party I stood for, I won't mention any policies, and I'll try my best to avoid talking specifically about any politicians. It's just that some of them are very good examples. So I got into politics a few years ago because I was bored and had opinions. But getting involved in politics is more than just being opinionated about things. And I actually learned very quickly that I could get a lot further by bringing in the techniques that I learned and used in writing documentation. Because there turns out there are a lot of similarities in how you get your point across to those audiences. Now, a lot of you are going to hear that and think, wait, I've listened to politicians, they're awful at that. And those politicians would write very bad documentation. But some of them are very good at it. And I'd say a lot of the things that actually come in common with these two is a very specific element of those audiences. And this is not the most popular thing to say, but it's true especially of documentation on like a non-technical user-oriented product. Because in both cases, your audience wishes they didn't have to listen to you. There's a lot of people reading doc that aren't exactly having fun. They're frustrated, they just want to get the information and go. These are the sort of people who only read the manual when something crashes. And for a lot of politics, it's the same thing. We've all absolutely listened to a politician and wished we weren't, but felt like it was important that we had to. There was something important in there somewhere. So in both cases, you need to take into account an audience that doesn't want to be there. And it turns out the same techniques can work. And the most important thing I think you can carry from one to the other, grab them very quickly. They don't want to be there, so either give them what they want right away, or find a way to make them want to keep listening. We've definitely all listened to a politician that's making a speech, and you just step back and go, wait, what are you even talking about? Don't be like that, ever, when you're a politician or a writer. People come in with a specific reason to listen to you. If you can, give that to them right away. You can give more information afterwards, but if your driving point is something like, we need more ambulances, or you can use this feature to watermark photos, you put that point in right away. But what if you can't? What if your audience, what if the concept you're getting across is very difficult, but it's still one of those things that you're going to have an unwilling audience for? Well, if it takes you 5 paragraphs to get to your point, those 5 paragraphs need to be pretty damn good. But then, well, what kind of good? That can vary pretty immensely, but you can see similar examples around both politics and in writing documentation. I found 2 angles that work really well in both cases, but you've got a lot of leeway within both of them. First of all, bring in like the personal bent. I know another candidate in Melbourne who's a very good one, starts nearly every single speech with a relevant example of a single person. Not necessarily her, but someone whose story is pertinent to whatever point she's trying to make. If she's talking about farming, she's going to bring up her dad, who was a farmer. She brought up me once, it was very weird. Their story might not actually be all that important, but she gives you shoes to stand in, walks you through them. You now care why she's taking this time to talk about this thing, and that works great in writing documentation. It's what tutorials are good for. You might not actually be using this product to take a damage assessment survey, but you've given them context, you've given them a narrative and a reason to care that you'll get them through what they need to. But even that doesn't work on some subjects. It's too big, it's too conceptual, you can't explain it with just this one hypothetical person. What then? Well, if you've got a big subject, you make big statements. Let people know how important this is. This political issue affects X million amount of people a year. It's X million, 100 million in its current state. Please listen to how to fix it because I have a way. That can sound ridiculous in both politics and documentation if you do that wrong. And if you mess up, you'll just scare people out of even trying to understand things. That is very hard. I haven't figured it out, but you have to just try. I got close enough.